Hi, this is Gecko Mayhem. This is another Godforge video. On stream today, I watched a video that Simon from Fateless recently put out about the starter champions. So let's get into it. I'm going to play this video of the Godforge starter champs being revealed. So let's check it out. I know that a lot of people would have seen this already.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. Today we're going to be going through the starter heroes at your disposal.
Starter heroes,
when
here we
you
go.
start
Let me just move
Godforge.
myself.
This is going to be the same starter heroes that you will be able to select for the alpha, which is due to come through in July as well, if we stay on track. We've seen a lot of speculation, whether it's H-Lock, Gecko Mayhem.
Oh, that's me.
Who else has been doing it? Ragewood, Adventure of Adams, Optimized Gaming, a bunch of the different content creators who have been following Godforge and doing videos
We have.
on a kind of weekly basis. We had one yesterday from Charlie Magni, I think that's how you say it. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I shouldn't
anyway,
laugh.
some speculation about who they're going to be. So
It's
let's
Charlemagne,
take you through
Simon. It's just Charlemagne.
kind of like the tutorial experience and yeah, what we're going to expect. So you start off with our cool opening cinematic.
Starting off with the
You know
cinematic.
what? I've not watched this in a little while. Let's just watch it.
Let's watch it. Let's watch the cinematic, guys. So good.
It does set the scene. Rah, giving someone the smackdown. It's too good. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. I love it too. It's such a fantastic cinematic.
Gilgamesh having a chat with the crow.
And the music just starts to build.
Brunhild getting ready for battle. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Here we go. Boom.
Wow. So we'll kick it off.
I'm not going to complain that he played through the cinematic again.
So we will open with the cinematic. For those people that have seen it already, it's fully skippable and you can go straight into the cinematic. But ultimately, Brunhild has just tried to fight Ra. Ra's giving it the big un, and Brunhild needs some support. And what better than to be supported by 3 starter heroes? So first off, Hell's Blood Ramses. Is there no end to them? Ramses needs to step up.
He sure does.
Chosen will full Valkyrie, just like the others. We get a core ability off.
Here we
there's
go.
Still a couple of little bugs in here, but he takes a
Breath
few
comes
down.
out. Yeah.
Guan Yu then steps up and says, "One still stands. Allow me." And basically what we're doing here is we're just showing you what different abilities exist in the game, right? The basics of gameplay.
Yep.
So I've got a basic ability that just takes one down.
Yep.
And we move on to the next wave. And our third starter hero, Lady Zoc, or Shock, I think it is.
Lady Shock.
Steps up and says, "They seem eager for death. How strange, but I will oblige." And she comes in with her ultimate ability, and it just shows you that there's a third skill available for each of the heroes. It's a very basic tutorial. Ra then comes in to lay down the smack. And we move on to kind of like the basics of summoning. So we'll let Ra do his hits. And I like this one actually. Yeah. We'll snuff out your flickering light, godling. Flickering light, feel the power of the sun.
And his ultimate comes in.
And Ra smacks everyone down, and we move on. We then move on to the hero select screen, which is actually being completely changed, but the vibe is still the same. You confirm who you are.
Cool.
And you will get a choice of 3 of the starter heroes. And when you go into each hero, it will give you a breakdown of their skills.
Cool.
And you can kind of like choose which one you want to go for. So we're going to go into that skill breakdown in this video. Okay, so we do have a new Sanctum screen. It is still 2D. It's been made into 3D right now, but this one's kind of like closer to the finished piece that we're after. This is the actual 2D artist mock-up, and making sure that all of the elements are in the right place and You know, we're no longer using sort of AI generated stuff for this, which is cool. Yeah, a lot of these screens are being redone right now, ready for the alpha.
First off, stopping the video for the first time, this Sanctum is looking so much better than the placeholder that they had. I don't think we realized that what we were seeing previously was a placeholder, but it was definitely a placeholder. It is looking so much better. It's got such a fantasy vibe. Yeah, there's not a lot of difference between ravens and crows, but yes, I didn't notice that he said crow during the trailer, but it is a raven. Thank you for that, Ritual.
So let's go into the hero screen quick. You can see as well, a bunch of these different screens are being worked upon right now.
Big work in progress, guys.
So let's check out our 3 starter heroes. Let's start then with Guan Yu.
Here we go.
So Guan Yu, they're all rares, obviously. Guan Yu is a rare. He is a slayer.
Okay, I just want to point something out here very quickly. In one of my videos recently, I broke down these symbols, their archetype, which can be Slayer, Defender, Brawler, Invoker, and Disruptor, right? The symbol for the Alliance, which is Chaos or Order. And then we've got this, and it looks a lot like the Defender symbol. And you think, why is there a third symbol here? And I think there's an alternative to the Wisdom, Cunning, Strength, and Purple affinities. And this is the 3D version of what I think is the Wisdom affinity. I think. Could be wrong on that. He could have a sub-archetype or something. So that's just the first little piece of info there that, yeah.
Who basically specializes in damage. He is from the Order faction or alignment. Let's go into his abilities here. So he's got a 20% in all battles.
So here are the abilities.
Attack ability. His basic Cold Steel attacks an enemy for X damage. Obviously, that will say what it is. We do have a little details button that tells you like the percentage multiplier from his attack stats. So this is 300% attack multiplier. Still some weirdness here, but we know about it.
Yeah.
If the target is under drain, deals additional damage equal to 5% of the target's max HP.
Yeah.
So you've got enemy max HP if drain is out there.
Yeah.
So for the core ability then, Crescent Slash on a 4-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies for 400% attack and has an additional 25% chance to strong hit an enemy. If the enemy is defeated, reduces the cooldown of this ability by a turn.
Yep.
And then we've got his ultimate ability here, Frostfair Blade Dance. So it costs 1,000 divinity to activate the ult. He attacks 4 enemies at random for X damage, 120 times percent of attack. Each attack a 35% chance to place drain on a target. So you could pretty much spread drain all over the place, which obviously helps that A1 ability. And how do you gain divinity here? You're gaining it through defeating enemies. His passive skill, which if you've understood the imprints system we've got, basically part of your passive can be imprinted onto any weapon down the line. So sometimes rares might just be strong for you because of their passives. But this passive here, Relentless Resolve, I don't think there's anything else in the details here, deals 20% increased damage to enemies under drain. So you could also synergize this with someone else who applies like an AoE drain as a base skill.
You could.
And then just ramp your damage up in general. So
ramp your damage up in general. And he is a general. Guan Yu is a general. I thought that was quite funny, that little pun. So he's all about drain, right? Guan Yu is about placing drains, about synergizing, as Simon said, with other characters that place the debuff drain or drain 2, or potentially if there is a drain 3 on enemies, and then his skills and his damage is improved because of that debuff drain. We don't know what drain does, but there are a few possibilities for what drain could be. Drain can be similar to what that Pokemon Zubat does, right?Here it is some sort of vampiric thing where it takes some of the life of an enemy and absorbs it into itself. That's a life drain. where you're getting HP back. So every time Drain ticks, they're taking a little bit of damage, and you're getting a percentage of that damage back as your own health. A bit like Vampiric Embrace, not Vampiric Embrace, Lifesteal sort of vibe, right? Or Drain could be depleting an a character's energy resource of some sort. So it could drain just about anything, right? It could be turn meter, although that would probably be turn meter reduction, not drain. But it could be something that is not necessarily health, or it could be a mix between health and something else. Potentially the divinity meter, which you need to fill for your ultimate. It could drain that. Maybe it drains the divinity meter. Maybe it drains, I don't know. It could be anything. It's probably life. It probably drains the life of the opponent a bit and gives you back a percentage in health for yourself to top you up. That's what I would speculate. The other thing is I want to be able to click on a debuff or a buff when a window is up. Just click on it and it bring up a little tooltip that says what it does exactly in simplified English, what that debuff or that buff actually does for you and to the enemies. So I think that would be a really good addition. Instead of going through a couple of screens and opening an info window, just being able to click on a little thing and it being a link that brings up just a pop-up. That's all we want, is just a little pop-up at any time, or mouse over, or something like that. Something unobtrusive. Yeah, I'm sure that the UX designer could come up with something really good for that.
Lady Zoc also got the same aura.
Yep.
Lady Shock.
All the rares have the same aura from the look of things.
Looking pretty sweet.
Yep.
A basic ability then. Attack an enemy for 300% of your attack.
Yep.
Then has a 35% chance to place bleed on the enemy.
Yep.
For the core ability, Vision Serpent attacks all enemies for 400% attack and has an additional 25% chance to strong hits.
Nice.
If the enemy is defeated, place speed up 2 on this hero for 2 turns.
Really cool.
And then we've got a ultimate skill here with the same 1000 divinity required.
Yep.
Attacks all enemies for 250% attack 2 times. Each attack has a 35% chance to place 1 stack of bleed on the target. And again, you get divinity for defeating enemies in battle.
Yep.
And then we've got here a passive skill deals 20% increased damage to enemies under bleed.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
And then finally for Ramses here, one of our earlier models, but honestly still looks freaking cool.
He does look awesome. I just want to stop it there very quickly. Lady Shock is my top pick out of the 3. I have to say it right now. I like the idea of bleeds. It's reminiscent of some sort of rogue coming in and cutting into the enemy, and then you know that they're bleeding out and they're taking more damage, and they've all got increased damage against enemies that have been debuffed, right? So whatever their debuff is that they're doing against enemies, it's increasing all of their damage by the same amount. So if you put the same gear on all 3 of these champions, they'll probably do very similar damage against enemies. I just like the idea of bleeds, and so I'm probably going to be picking Lady Shock as my starter champion. She also does speed up, and speed is going to be pretty important. Now, the synergy between speed and divinity is actually a really cool concept, and that's a huge part of what we're going to be testing in the alpha. But I think speed itself is going to make a bit of a difference, or enough of a difference, and having speed up too is going to be great on a champion. So that is another reason why I'd like to choose Lady Shock as my starter champ.
So he has got...
But he looks awesome.
Curse of the Aru. Attacks an enemy. 35% chance to place acid,
acid
on them.
Nature damage.
The core ability is a 400% attack hit. Again, additional chance to strong hits.
Yep.
If an enemy is defeated,
increases this turn meter.
The turn meter of this hero by 30%.
Similar to getting speed, right?
And
increasing turn
the
meter.
Ultimate attacks all enemies for 500% damage, with a 75% chance of placing acid on each enemy for 2 turns.
Yep.
Same type of vibe in terms of how they gain divinity.
So acid could be good.
And then we've got General of the Nile was the passive. Deal 20% increased damage to enemies under acid. Okay, let's jump into battle and see what their abilities look like.
Let's have a
okay,
look.
Then let's start with Guan Yu. I've turned on ultimates so that I can just instant ult. Just so you know as well, for those that have been asking, we are working on playtesting different camera views for people that are looking for that.
That's good news.
It's definitely on our radar.
Yep.
Let's start with the Guan Yu base ability, actually. Basic ability comes in with the smack. Now let's jump to the core ability. We get the swing.
Oh, it's looking good.
Down they go. Yep. And then on to the ultimate ability here, where he gives the jump in, brings down all the spears of ice.
Oh, there we go.
And gives them a smack. Obviously, also with the ability to place Drain, which will empower our A1 ability as well. Right then, onto Lady Shock. Coming in with her basic ability, gives people the smackdown. We've got her core ability here, coming in with the big baseball bat hit.
Oh, that's cool.
Taking people to the floor. And then her ultimate ability brings in.
Oh, that is sick. I like her ultimate as well.
That bleed debuff. Lastly, let's check out Ramsey's then with his A1 ability. We've seen it now a few times, but damn, it still hurts. We then get his core ability coming in with the screen.
Knocks them over.
And lastly, we can try his ult as well. The flail going across all enemies and one-shots the lot.
I just want to point out very quickly, in showcasing this, Lady Shock and Guan Yu did not have gear on, or had very mediocre gear, and then Ramses actually had gear on, and that's why he's hitting for what looks like so much more damage. I just want to point that out. So don't go choosing Ramses because you think he hits 7 times harder than Lady Shock and Guan Yu. Base your choice on who you think. Oh, base your choice on what you want, right? It's your opinion. If you like the look of their skills and that is what defines it for you, then choose them based on how their skills look. If yours is based on, if you want to choose based on what their skills actually do mechanically, and you want to theory craft it a little bit, then do it based on that. There's not going to be a wrong choice. I don't think it's going to be as cut and dried as choosing Kale over Aethel, for example, right? To take Raid as an example. I think that they're going to be pretty fair and even in terms of how they perform, and you're going to replace them. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people wondered about that damage, T-Second. It's because Ramses is wearing gear. So he's like, bring this back down. Let me do 9,000 damage right here.
So I guess, who do you want?
Who do I want? I want to pick Lady Shock.
When you're playing in the Alpha experience. Yeah. I've been Simon from Fate.
At least for the Alpha.
I'll see you soon.
All right, at least for the Alpha, right? I don't know if I'll pick her when the game goes live, but for the Alpha Kevin, if you don't know about that, go check out my video about the information around the Alpha rewards, which I did not too long ago, or check out the Fateless video about the what's coming in the Alpha. Anyway, that's about everything for watching that video and giving my impressions. Although I don't know if I have any final thoughts about it, except everything's a work in progress, right? Now, they're getting closer to the Alpha, but things are still a work in progress in terms of the basics and especially the animations. So you would have noticed during that showcase that quite a few of the animations were janky as heck. When they come in, they slide in and then they do their animation. When Ra came in, he fell from the sky way too slowly, and they really need to work on that animation. It looks unnatural. He looks stiff as a board. So they are still iterating and improving on the animations. So take the animations with a grain of salt, obviously. Yeah, I thought that was really cool that they revealed to us, or at least confirmed for us, who the starter champs actually are, for one. But we got to see them in action, despite the janky animations and how some of them need refinement. Not too impressed with Guan Yu's ultimate. I think that could be definitely improved. But I really liked Lady Shock's ultimate. That's really cool how explodey that feels. Yeah. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.